Morning. It's morning time, isn't it? It's already been a morning. And it's so early to have that mindset. Bear with me. I hopped on here and I wasn't fully prepared. Looking up some good stuff. We're going to make some stuff. And we're going to talk about winter preparation. We've got a lot of things we're going to talk about in a short period of time. So if you are interested in preparing your family naturally for the winter months, flu, colds, etc., hang out. These are going to be kid-friendly also. And very simple things that you can do, actually. So give me a moment. We will be making some good stuff. And I'm going to give you some recipes that you can write down and you can make it, because a lot of times kids don't want to take herbal medicine because honestly, herbal medicine doesn't always taste that great. So I've got some recipes to help you make herbs a little bit more inviting to children. Good morning, Anna Banana. So hang out. Let me pull up all my recipes here. We're going to talk about oxymels. We are going to, that's a way for you to, we're going to talk about ashwagandha and ginger yummy bites. They seem to like those also. Hold on one second. I'm making sure I have everything that I want to talk about. All right. So if you don't know me, my name is Angie. I'm an herbalist. I have my herbalist certification from Cornell. Also mentored under a veterinarian years ago who was an herbalist and a licensed veterinarian. And every animal that came in actually left with some type of herb. Went on to get his naturopath license, and he started treating patients, human patients. So learned a lot under him. I also have my degree from OSU, where I also work on the medical center side, kind of sit on the fence, university and medical center. So I can bend the ear of a lot of physicians and dermatologists, etc., on just overall things, from how the body works to, epidemiology. I have that ability to be able to have those conversations. Anyway, good morning. How is everyone? Let me fill up my coffee cup. We are going to make some fun stuff today. I'm going to be making small batches of things. So for those of you who would want to make more, you would have to adjust the recipe, yourself. There are herbal calculators out there on Google that can help you in adjusting your measurements. I usually go in parts, so to explain that, I may be saying you want 2 parts herb and 1 part honey, let's say. So I'm also going to give you a list of herbs. Good morning, Misunderstood. Thanks for joining. I'm going to give you some lists of herbs that, good morning, Kathy, would be beneficial to you to have in your home as the winter months come on. Let me get some coffee real quick. Because as you can remember, last year we had shortages on quite a few things. We had shortages on asthma medicines. We had shortages in the grocery stores and pharmacies like CVS, etc., for cough and flu, excuse me, medications. And I ran out of my fire cider, which I never do. Been about a week, and this morning, just I don't know what it is. It could be the weather, because we are in the dog days of summer, and it was literally 60 degrees yesterday, 62 maybe. It's just cold, but then it's supposed to get warm again. So, yeah. I am going to put my hair up real quick, because we're going to be making all kinds of things, and kind of a half-ass up. All right, so let's start with honey. Honey is wonderful as a medicine. It's also a very good preservative. It has a long shelf life. It can take out medicinal values of things also, to an extent. Now, honey is useful for infusing herbs, spices, but also you can take that honey to a next level, and it's called an oxymel. An oxymel is when you use apple cider vinegar and honey to make a child-friendly medicine. So therefore, you're not using any alcohol, you're not using a food-grade glycerin. And I got to touch upon something here. I was scrolling through TikTok yesterday, and I would like all of you who are watching this to be aware of information not being shared as it should be. There is a creator out here, very large, 300,000 followers. And I know some of you that are on here follow them, because you can see when people comment. But I would like you to know there are two different types of glycerin. There is a food-grade glycerin that you make medicine out of. And there is just vegetable glycerin that should not be ingested. And yesterday I watched video after video of this individual making medicine, because, don't get me wrong, I like Barbara O'Neill. And Barbara O'Neill has hit TikTok, wildfire. But there are some things that all herbalists don't always agree on things. I don't believe alcohol tinctures are bad for you. You're not drinking a bottle. Our ancestors have done this for centuries. I will stay by that. Now we've got creators saying, oh my God, don't do alcohol tinctures. Guys, do your own research. Please, food-grade glycerin has been around for a while, but not as long as tinctures. Also, would they please call something what it fucking is? If it's made out of food-grade glycerin, it's a glycerite. It's not a tincture. I'm a little testy today. I only had 3 hours sleep. I apologize. Yes, I do. And as a matter of fact, I'm glad that you reminded me. I need to take my tinctures. So anyway, I'm just bringing the whole kit and caboodle over here. So anyway, call it what it is. It's a glycerite. And this is how you can tell people really are just following the popularity train. They want the views. They're straight up saying, I've never done this before, but this is what you do. Please don't depend on getting your education when it comes to herbal medicine from Google. And you can teach yourself. I'm not saying you need to have a certification. You don't have to be an herbalist. I'm not saying going to school for it and anything like that. I am saying that is beneficial. I'm not saying don't get a mentor. it is beneficial. I am saying study. Google, as we know, does not share a lot of things or the correct things. For God's sakes, don't go to, what is it that when you search somebody, there's that site that, starts with a W. I can't remember the site and name of it. But anyway, do you know people can change that website? And they're not always knowledgeable about things. Anyway, with that being said, I do have to say, I feel tinctures are the best. They pull out the most medicinal properties. Oxymels are good. Glycerites are good. They're not as strong. And again, because they're not as strong, you, as an adult taking those, you would have to increase your dosage accordingly. Also, know that dosages are just like pharmaceutical medicine based upon height, weight, age. So what works for one 120-pound woman is not going to take the same amount as a 275-pound man. On bottles, we give the average. Hello, Rosanna. We give the average. But yesterday when I saw this creator just saying vegetable glycerin, but not clarifying it, and in the responses, well, Barbara O'Neill said, guys, I like her too. And unfortunately, so much is just not being... and the castor oil thing, and the borax thing, my freaking goodness. Anyway, sorry. All right, I take tinctures. Somebody had said coffee. You are exactly right. I do take tinctures. Probably should get off coffee. This is my mineral health blend. It stinks like shit, smells like the ocean. If you have somebody who's trying to sell you, good morning, Rhonda. If you have how are you today, honey? Thanks for joining. If you have somebody trying to sell you a tea with Irish sea moss, think twice about it, because it's the worst tasting shit that you can ever have. You want something to get in your system quick with the least amount, because it's nasty tasting. Sell this in a tincture. It is, I thought about it. I'm off the creamers and the dairy and all that. I just, borax, just take boron. I don't take boron because I take my mineral tincture. Boron's a mineral, one of the 102 minerals that our body needs. You can get boron through various nuts, almonds and hazelnuts and things like that. You don't need to take borax for boron. Isn't it kind of scary that we're all, all these people again jumping on the bandwagon? Let's just take a cleaning agent, I just find that odd. And they just take, and please, double check me. I'm not the know-it-all, know-all, be-all, Do your own research. Be your own advocate. Just because some random person on a live or somebody in a comment section, I took it and don't have any arthritic pain. We don't know who that person is. That could be a 10-year-old kid that's making comments out there. You know what I mean? We don't know who these people are. I had somebody, when I made a video about borax, and saying, please just do your research. At least support your liver if you're going to be doing this. I had somebody make a comment, I've known people that have taken this for decades, and I just started taking it 3 months ago. Well, if you've known that they've taken it for decades and it's helping them, why are you just taking it now in the last 3 months? Why wouldn't you have taken it 10 years ago? You know? That was a lie. People clean their chicken with Tide. Oh, are you serious? Yes, you have to research everything. Well, thank you guys. All right, so as far as boron goes, you can get it in various minerals. Buy yourself some Irish sea moss. I have these recipes, guys. You can find the ingredients on my website under the, you know, whatever the bottle, the 3 hours sleep, I apologize, under the product. But if you don't want to do that, Trace Minerals has boron. As you can see, the package is still on this. I just got this as a prop to show you guys. I'm not affiliated in any way. Just to say, guys, you can get boron, but you can also get it naturally out of nuts and things like that. Anyway, Mineral Health. I take this, I put my stuff in the coffee, and honestly, I don't know if I already put this in here, and I'm going to be honest, it doesn't taste good. I've gotten used to this. This is a dropper full, because that's as much as will be pulled in. I do 3 of these. Let's see, my heart is full. I need to have these tinctures full. I'm about out. This has 5 different beneficial herbs. Again, that's a little bit low, but we're going to do 3. This has 5 beneficial herbs for heart health, blood pressure, cholesterol, soursop, lemon balm, motherwort, holy basil. There's something else in there. Yeah, you can take them in anything. Anything. This is barberry and black seed. This is new. I've been taking this for a few weeks. I love it. Barberries have been shown to, again, a dropper. Put 3 of those in there. You got to build your tolerance up to it. As always, not just anything you get from me. Anything you buy, make yourself. Anything you get from anybody else, do a patch test. You would rather see an allergic reaction on your skin than ingesting it. So always do a patch test on anything you take. Skincare too. Barberries helps remove benone, and everything that I am saying, I am going to just encompass all this as it has been shown to. Okay, so every herb I'm talking about, that goes in front of it in case I forget to say it. But plaque out of arteries, cholesterol, diabetes, it mimics metformin. This is my liver and lymphatic, and there's hardly anything in here. Liver and lymphatic support. I combine 2 tinctures for liver and lymphatic into 1 to keep the cost down for you guys. And I need to refill mine, all mine. This is the Mushroom 5. Let's see. Good morning, Brandy. You're a fine girl. What a good time to have you here. Have to keep your mouth to an empty stomach preferred. Not all tinctures you have to do that with. You can go ahead and you don't have to hold them for 15 seconds. The purpose of that is the blood vessels under the tongue for sublingual absorptions directly into the bloodstream. I don't do that except with my anxiety because I want immediate effects on that, or my pain, if I need my pain tincture underneath the tongue. But you can just go ahead and put them in a shot glass of water if you wanted to and throw it back. It's fine. It's still going to be absorbed. Mushroom 5 has 7 different mushrooms that help brain health. They are known to, there's hardly anything in there. We're dumping it in. And this is my love. This is turmeric fenugreek. We just did a recipe together. I showed you guys how to make it. It is a nice, beautiful color. It has pepperine in there. It helps absorb the turmeric into the cells. So does fenugreek. That's why that's in there also. You want to make sure you get active pepperine at the time that the peppercorns are crushed. So I wasn't planning on doing all this during the live, so I'm trying to really move quack through this, quick through this. Let me put this away. Okay, lots of things going on. We got things going on. Okay, yes, I do take these on an empty stomach. This is my first cup of coffee. Does my coffee taste great? No, it doesn't, but herbal medicine does. And I don't put any sugar, I don't put any honey, I don't put any sweetener in my coffee. I've gotten away from that. I don't even do monk fruit or anything like that. Like I said, I've gotten away from the creamers. If I wanted any sweetening, which we're going to make our tea blend, and I'll show you a good way for everybody to be able to have, including children, to have a sweetened tea if you don't need honey, or if they can't, if they're a diabetic and you can't have the honey or the guava or anything like that. It's by, did I miss something? I think I missed something. I don't know what I've missed. Sorry. You had to stop taking all your tinctures for 2 weeks trying to figure out what was causing some endometriosis stuff. That's crazy. Are you back on track? Morning, Rhonda. How are you? Okay, not for me. All right, guys, we're going to get moving. Things to do. Let's get going. I had to email myself some notes. All right. Oh, that's not good. You have to text me and tell me what's going on. We'll talk. I can tell you more about some of the stuff. Let's see. Okay. What do you need in your apothecary? There are so many things for kids, so I hope you guys have pen and paper right now, because we're going to be going over, I'm doing well, thank you. We're going to be going over a lot of stuff, and I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to do a lot of repeating, okay? If we want it, we might have to do this in a couple parts, to be honest, do like a series. And I know I'm bad about getting things over to YouTube lately, but I definitely will try to get this over there. Let me grab this. We've got a bunch of garlic, not garlic. We've got a bunch of turmeric and ginger. Let me go grab some garlic real quick. Lord, I thought I was prepared and I was not. We might have to do this in a few videos. So these are peppers grew in the garden. I string them to dry them. I grabbed a couple pieces of garlic, or bulbs of garlic from the garden that were drying. Got all kinds of things. All right, let's talk about honeys. You need to start your honeys now. They take a while to ferment. So in order to get the medicinal values out and have that available to you, you need to do it now. So how long do honeys last, infused honeys? They can last a long time because honey is a natural preservative. It also doesn't need to be in the refrigerator, or can we leave it on the counter? You can do both. You can keep it on the counter and for it to have a long shelf life, but you need to pay attention to it. Because especially as I am doing today, I'm not using entirely dried herbs. When I say that, my turmeric, okay? It's been sitting out, but is it 100% dry? No. So with that being said, as anybody who has followed me, we do need to be mindful of fresh products because they do have water. With water comes bacteria, okay? You can use dried garlic. You can use, turmeric. You can use powdered turmeric if you want. It's up to you. This is what I have, and I'm going to use it. Another reason is the powdered can be good because you're not going to have chunks in your honey, so that can be a preference. I don't worry about the chunks in my honey when I'm drinking a tea and using this because I'll chew them up and that's really good for you, okay? So the first one that we are going to make is actually my favorite when I am not feeling well and I want something to get my blood going, to help with nausea, just overall medicinal values. So let me try to make room. I've got laptops, I've got jars, I've got all sorts of things, bowls. The first one, because this is my favorite, I don't make large batches. Again, I'm not going to give you amounts that you can, hey, this, you would have to adjust it to the size of jar. I'm going to use a jelly jar in this. This is a ball jelly jar, so it's a half a pint. A pint has 2 cups, so this is 1 cup, okay? This blend is going to be turmeric, ginger. One thing I do want to say before we move forward, if you're interested in thinking about growing your own, it's cheaper. That's what I do. That's where these came from. When you get ginger, let me see if I can find a good one for you. And you want to be able to grow it yourself. If you know it's 100% organic, it has not been genetically modified. Do you see this little nodule coming out here? You can break that. So you'd want to break it down through here, cut it, whatever. And you can grow that. You can put the whole thing. And more of these may start sprouting on here. Stick it in the dirt. Grow ginger. Same way with turmeric. Turmeric will also get nodules, rhizomes, right there. Grow your own. All right. So I'm going to take 1 ginger, 1 garlic. We're going to put you guys down here. We're going to choppy. And just your regular watering. Nothing crazy. I found someone else to grow this year for the first time. Wonderful. These have been washed. I grew them, so we've washed them. And it's up to you. This is a preference on size. Again, you can use powder if you want. Doesn't matter. You want to make sure you look at organic blends. Like I said, I don't worry about size because I'll chomp on them when I add it to the honey. Now, this honestly may be a little bit too big. So I just cut a piece off and plant it. You need, again, guys, and I already chopped it up, didn't I? I think I used that one. Here we go. Here's another one. See that little sprout right there? You want some little nodules. You want something with that. It'll grow. Alright, so we're just chopping. You could even use some type of electrical device to make this a little bit smaller if you like. We're just rough chopping things, okay? I'm not getting pretty with it because we're making too much. I can't spend all day chopping and making it look pretty. And as you can see, like I said, they're dried, but they're not going to be all dry, just like anything you're going to get at the store. You see the dampness here? So, what I don't use for this today, if I've cut too much for my jar, I'm just going to put some in here. I'm going to fill it up about that much, okay? I'm going to set this aside in a bowl. I'm going to take cloves. You can use clove powder if you would like. I'm using whole cloves. I'm going to put this in here. Don't need a ton, just a little bit. I'm going to take some cinnamon chips. The reason I'm using the chips on this is because I've got a small jar. I can't fit a whole, you would have to check your area, hun. If you Google it, it'll tell you on the growing based upon your area and how cold it gets. For example, now's the time you got to start thinking about preparing for growing your garlic. You're going to plant that. It's going to sit all winter long. It takes 9 months for garlic, you know. But anyway, it says cinnamon. I put some cinnamon in there. Now then, what I really like in here is the heat. So, you can take powdered cayenne if you would like. I am using one of these. I'm just going to cut one off. And just make sure to wash your hands afterwards. I leave the seeds and everything in there because the seeds is where the heat is. I want the heat. Cayenne acts as a vasodilator. That's another thing on these videos I've been saying, gee, mini Christmas. I don't know. Don't go and get into that. All I'm saying, man, everybody wants them views. Regurgitating the same shit, and it's not all of it's informational. Okay, sorry, bitching again. Lack of sleep, friends. Lack of sleep. I don't know where my little... There it is. Sorry. But I'm gonna go to farmer's market. Yes, most definitely. Chop that up. I don't worry about putting garlic in here because we're going to do a garlic and honey. So, this is it right here. You're going to take, this is a requirement. A requirement. You need to get local raw honey. You need this for the allergen, the pollen in your area. You getting honey from Minnesota isn't going to help you if you live in Florida. Those bees aren't collecting the same indigenous flowers that live by you. Okay? Get raw local honey. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you, thank you. All right. And we are just going to top this off. Just gonna, and I love this. I love it. The heat opens those airways. The cayenne's a vasodilator. It's going to open up the veins to help. You don't want to use metal in here either. You want to stay with wooden, and unfortunately I don't have any more of my wooden skewers. So we're using the bottom of a wooden spoon. Yes, you sure can. Let's add some more. What we just did is called debubbling. We're getting the bubbles, we're getting the honey into everything. I do not fill this all the way up. You do not want to fill it all the way up. Here's why. As this sits, you could possibly get gases in here, not so much from the turmeric and the ginger, but when you're doing garlic and you have to burp it. But I burp everything. That means just opening the jar up and then letting the air release and then closing it back up again. All right. We're going to put a lid on here. You'll want to, you could put parchment paper on here if you like, which I should, because I am going to turn these over and shake them periodically. I use press and seal. It's a lot easier to manage. It's not as thick when you are putting your lid on. Wax paper, parchment paper can kind of get too thick and be hard to close the lid. That's another reason I use press and seal, because it just hold on. Is this good for when we get sick? Yes, it is. It is. Your turmeric is an immune booster. It's an inflammation fighter. Your ginger is a wonderful immune booster. The cayenne also helps clear out the lungs. It's a vasodilator. We put cinnamon, we put cloves in there. All of those are very good for you. What would this be used for? Put it in tea. Put it in tea. Just as needed. I only use this in tea. But, you know, if you decided to strain it, it has heat. I don't think kids are really going to like this. All right, there's number one. Whoops. I didn't want to do that. All right, we've got ginger and turmeric out of the way. We are going to do honey and garlic. I don't use a lot of this myself. I'm doing a jelly jar. Okay. We're going to cut this down. We're going to peel the onion. That's why I'm just using a tiny little one. Save your peels, friends. Where are they? I keep a bag in my freezer of all my ends, peels of vegetable clippings. Then I make a bone broth out of it. No cost you. Just save it. So we're going to put all these peels. Onion peels are great for your bone broth. It gives it such a beautiful color. Such a rich color. Like I say, I save the skins. And this kind of gives you an idea of how to do it. Let's see, what am I? Same with onion honey. Yeah, it doesn't taste well at all, but it works. I don't really leave, you know, onions and stuff laying around the house. But onions are very good for you. Onions, when you cut them, especially when you shred them, get a shredder. take the juice from the honey, squeeze it. So here you go. Let's say I had a shredder, a plane, and I'm shredding this onion. You want to make sure that you put it in a bowl with some cheesecloth. So you put the cheesecloth in the bowl, you'd shred the onion. Then take that cheesecloth and strain out that onion juice. It's a freaking wonderful earache medicine. A couple drops of onion juice in the ears knocks it out. So keep that in mind. Did it for my kids for years. All right, we've got that. We are now going to save your garlic peels too. But these weren't washed off, they were just dried, so I'm not saving these garlic peels. Garlic also, friends, save you some garlic bulbs. Plant them. Now's the time. Into September, I'm in zone 6. Into September, beginning of October is when you want to plant your garlic bulbs. You just, not the whole bulb, you would take a clove and just plant that clove. That clove's going to turn into a whole nother bulb of garlic. Another trick, if you have a hard time, I'm getting clove stuff all over me. Best thing I ever bought, Amazon, 3 of these for $6, $7. You could. You need a deep pot, deep as far as not like horrendously deep, but you need something deep. You put this in there. It's already peeled. There's the skins. Amazon, best thing in the world. When you, 5-gallon bucket, be wonderful. Garlic is good for you because of the allicin. In order to get the allicin activated, you need to either poke holes in it, you need to crush it, you need to cut it. If I was going to just throw this in here without touching it, penetrating it in any way, the allicin's not going to be activated. As this sits in honey, have you ever seen fermented honey, garlic? It turns brown, okay? That allicin, why are people, I'm on a vacation day today, people. Work's message at me. So, you need to disrupt this clove in some way, shape, or form when you put it in here. And the end here, I'm cutting it. You could smash it, whatever. I've got a small jar, large clove. I'm cutting this down a little bit. I'm going to put this in here. We're going to try 2 at a time. And again, you just put pressure on there, roll. 2 at a time is not apparently a good option. And another thing I don't like about garlic and peeling is, you know how you get, your hands get so sticky from the garlic juice. I'm just going to keep this clove. I'm not doing anything with that. Oh. All right. Any questions? Am I missing anything? Yes. It has the red onion. It has the garlic. This is similar to, you know, last year everybody is cutting onions open and putting the honey on there and all that. Same thing. It's just in here, it's going to be more shelf stable instead of having, because, you know, honey's going to thin out, turn syrupy, just like, you know, when you do the garlic honey by itself, your honey thins out just because you're infusing it with these vegetables. Because this one isn't so full, And that's on the outside there. I'm not going to debubble that. I did not fill it all the way to the top. I'll show you here in a second. Because this one you got to make sure you burp. I'll mark that out. You can tell I use my canning jars. So, if you turn it upside down, you can make sure, it's an easy way to make sure everything is being submerged. And it is. Once a day for at least 2 weeks, you're going to burp this. You want to make sure you burp it. Not gas, but gas is going to build up in here because of that garlic. You need to burp it. It is going to become a thinner texture. Again, long shelf life. You can leave it on the counter. You can put it into your refrigerator. It's entirely up to you. You can eat the onion. You can eat the garlic. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Let me clean up my area a little bit, friends, before I go move on, because I got some honey up here. I got little shavings of garlic everywhere. Okay, our next one, we've got 1, 2, 3. All right. That does sound good. Very good. All right, next one is just cranberries are very good for us, friends. They're very good for us. So when Thanksgiving comes around, get you a bag of fresh cranberries. I can cranberry juice with cranberries at Thanksgiving. You can water bath them because their acidity level is very high. You cut the root of garlic before. Yeah, I did. You need to disrupt that clove in some way to trigger the allicin. That's what's healthy for us, is the allicin. And that clove needs disrupted. So by cutting the end, the root end off of it, yes, you are activating that allicin. You could also smash it, poke holes in it, but I just cut the end of it off. So cranberries, we're getting close to the time when cranberries are going to be at the grocery stores. If you notice, you really can't find cranberries very often, but I do can them. You can make your own cranberry juice, 100% pure, good for kidneys, UTIs, high in vitamin C, wonderful for you. All you need to do is get yourself some cranberries, wash them up, get you some distilled water, filtered water, put those in a pot together. Use your judgment on measurements, okay? If you have 4 cups of water, you would want to go to let's say a 2-to-1 ratio. That's what you'd want to go to. You go ahead and you let that cook down, okay? Get all that goodness out of your cranberries. Then you go ahead and get sterilized jars, canning jars, however size you want. You ladle that in. You can leave the cranberries in there if you would like, or you can take the cranberries out. One thing I forgot to mention, you want to add a little bit of lemon juice to that. You want that high acidity. So you go ahead and take the cranberries and the juice, you ladle into the jars. You can leave the cranberries in there if you'd like. You put your lids on just like, put your lid on. Get you a pot of water with enough water in it that your jars will be totally covered with water by at least 1 to 2 inches. So you want that jar with the lid. We're going to pretend this is the cranberry juice. You want it totally submerged in that pot. And you can do it this way, even according to the FDA guidelines. This isn't rebel canning or anything. This is FDA approved. Because of the acidity level, you've added the lemon juice. Cranberries are also high in acidity. So you can do a water bath. All water bath means is you've got that pot of water, you've submerged your jar with the lids, and you let that get to a boiling for ever how many minutes your altitude. So if you live in the mountains, you gotta do this for a little bit longer. So you can actually make your own cranberry juice. You don't have to have a canner, okay? All right, so this is another idea for you. So, doing another little jar. I like this one. It's a little bit natural. I don't think, yeah, I do. So, I pulled some various, flowers that I have dried out. We've got some black-eyed Susan. Black-eyed Susan is actually in the daisy family. Whole thing's edible. It's very good for immune support. Chamomile is very calming. So we've got some chamomile flowers here. We've got some little buds of lavender. I even got some toothache plant in here. And if you've never Black-eyed Susan, like the name Susan. The toothache plant, very distinct. You can tell what it is. Dry it out, fresh, whatever. You've got a toothache. It's gonna numb your mouth. Doesn't taste good. But if you're in pain, chew that son of a bitch up. It's gonna numb your mouth. My tongue's already numb. But I'm not going to add those. But they were in here drying. So I'm just, ooh, yeah, my tongue's all, ugh, it's all numbed up. Now, that effect doesn't last forever. Oh, no. I ate that tiny one. I'll let you know when it's done. So it's 9:24 on my phone. I put it to the side. It starts with an L. I'm not good at the Latin names, guys. Spilanthius, I think is what the name of it. So I put it back here to chew. The tip of my tongue to here. It does radiate. It's just numb. Like, yeah, it's numb. Whew. And it tastes like shit. So let me just drink my coffee with all that Irish sea moss in there. That'll be real good together. With that being said, I don't have a lot. Oh, I put those in the wrong jar, son of a bitch. Anyway, what we're going to do is I have some chamomile out of the garden. And we're just going to put just chamomile. This is calming. It's good if upset tummies, kids not feeling good. You can use a chamomile. You could add lavender to this, like I said. It's good calming. It's good for their belly. You could also add some catnip to this. Catnip is a good soothing. I'm also going to add some dried cranberries to this. I did grind and dry cranberries. So we're going to add some of this here too. It's going to give you a good dosage of vitamin C. All right. I'm not filling it all the way to the top. Going to debubble it here. And honey's hey Lady Moon, how are you? Honey's an amazing thing. If you notice that if your honey starts to get crystallized and you don't mess with it, if you don't change the heat that that honey is being exposed to, the whole jar will eventually crystallize. Oh, here it is. And once you, it like it takes on, I was a stuttering fool on that one, wasn't I? It kind of takes the form of the whole batch. So just not a little bit of your honey will crystallize. Your entire honey will crystallize. So you always got to watch your temperature on your honey. If you find that your honey's not even this kind of honey, but just regular honey in a jar, and you find maybe the temperature's got too cold and it's crystallized or whatever, don't throw it away. You can change that structure of the honey. Just set it close to your stove top or something to where it's going to get a little warming. That whole bottle will change back to its normal state. Okay, friends, we did the clove and onion, we did the cranberry and chamomile, and my favorite, the turmeric, ginger, clove, cinnamon, and hot peppers. Cayenne. I love it. I also... See you later, Rhonda. Thanks for joining. Happy holiday. I also love a good lavender honey, too. And keep in mind, you can use the leaves and the flower and lavender. Make your own honey. We are done with the honey. We're going to go on to other herbs that your apothecary needs for the winter. I don't think I'm going to need this, so we're going to remove this. But we're going to set it over here just in case. Okay. Oops, let's put the bone broth back. We don't want this to thaw. You know what? I'm gonna, you know all those leftovers that we had from the turmeric and ginger? I'm not planning on making anything with them right now. We'll throw them in our bone broth when we make it. Just goodness. You can add anything you want to a bone broth. Okay, things that you need. Let's talk about kid health, children's health during the holidays. What do you need? And I can see I'm not going to get up to a lot of things I wanted to make today because I am on vacation today, but I got to get some orders to the post office. And I'm eventually going to have to go to the bathroom. I don't think you guys want to go along with me on that, right? Okay, friends. I'm going to give you a list of herbs that are good for certain symptoms. Please write them down. Okay. So these are all kid friendly. They're good for adults too. So let's say you have dry sinuses, okay? Kids have dry sinuses. Maybe they're getting some nosebleeds even too because of the dryness. Number one thing that you want to do is make sure you put some humidity into your air. So invest in a cool air humidifier, or put a pot of water on the stove, get some moisture into your air. A lot of our sinus problems comes from lack of humidity in our air. You can actually buy a gauge that you can get it on Amazon, that will attach to your refrigerator. It's a magnet that will help you monitor your humidity level. That too low of humidity and too high of humidity can, especially high, you can have a lot of bacteria in your air. So you need to keep track. You don't want it too damp. You don't want it too dry. You've got to stay within that range. I'm going to say it's between 35%, I think is what it is. But I know I had to start watching the humidity in my household because I was getting, a couple years ago during the COVID thing, I was getting a lot of sinus. It would either be too dry, so I had to find that medium. So that can help with a lot. So as far as herb-wise, marshmallow, mucilage. Marshmallow is good to keep in the house for a dry sinus. Plantain is also good for dry sinuses. You can get that now out in your yard. Go pick it now. Dry it. No cost to you. If you don't put anything down on your neighbors don't put anything on their grass, go get you some plantain out there, okay? It helps. And you're going to see, as we keep on saying plantain, it's good for other things too. Because once you have it needed in the wintertime, you can't go out and pick it out of your yard. Wild violets that grow in the yard, good for dry sinuses. A runny nose. Okay, guys, going to have to write this down. Marshmallow is good for dry sinuses. Runny noses. So these herbs are going to tone down the sinus tissue. Okay, they're going to tone it down so it's not so crazy. Nettle, stinging nettle, is great for sinuses. It's a natural antihistamine. You want stinging nettle. Okay. Goldenrod is good for that too. Ragweed is good for it. Again, kid-friendly, adult-friendly. Echinacea, good for kids. You do want to watch the amount of echinacea you give children, though, younger children. You don't want to, give too much. Usnea, old man's beard. It's a lichen. It's also a natural antibiotic. You want usnea, okay? Definitely usnea in your apothecary. Congestion in the nose. Thyme. These are herbs you can have right in your, marshmallow the plant. Marshmallow the plant. So thyme for congested nose. Sage, also right in your cabinets. Of course, if that's all you have, use it. Okay? All these herbs, if you don't want, you're not looking at doing a tincture out of alcohol. You don't want to do a glycerite because, food grade glycerin can be expensive sometimes. Make your oxymel. Take that apple cider vinegar. Take that honey. Take those herbs, these herbs we're talking about, and make your own medicine. Okay? We've discussed how to make oxymels before. You guys can do it. All right, so thyme, sage, eucalyptus is good for congested nose. You do not want to consume fresh eucalyptus. You always want it to be dried eucalyptus. And mint. Mint also helps with congested noses. So let's say you have an unproductive cough. Okay, you're just coughing and nothing's coming up. So you want to slow down that cough, that triggering. This is a cough suppressant herbs. Marshmallow again. So we've discussed marshmallow a few times. You want to have marshmallow in your apothecary. Licorice root. it also is a cough suppressant for a dry cough, meaning it's not productive at all. You're just coughing. You've got something in there that's just aggravating, okay? Could be mucus that's aggravating it, but you're not coughing up the mucus. Plantain. Go out in your yard, pick that plantain. Go on, guys. Elecampane. Elecampane is wonderful. I thought I brought some out. Didn't I have elecampane? Because I did. Yeah, duh. I grow my own elecampane, and I only have a few here until it's done drying. Over 2 years old. Yep, you gotta watch kids, young kids. Thank you for bringing that up, Rosanna. Rosanna. But yes, over 2 years old. Elecampane clears your respiratory tract. So look at investing in some elecampane. Go to Etsy to find your herbs. Be cautious if you buy anything on Amazon. Make sure it's a well-known company you're buying from so you know you're getting the real stuff. Immune boosters. Ashwagandha is a good immune booster. It's also an adaptogen, so it helps with adapting to stress. Anything, spell what? Elecampane, Elecampane, campaign. So a couple silent letters in there. Ashwagandha, immune booster. Astragalus, immune booster. Holy basil, immune booster. Of course, our elderberries, etc. Echinacea. Now, those are strengtheners. Okay, let me backtrack. Immune strengtheners. Ashwagandha, astragalus, holy basil, and reishi mushrooms. Kids can take reishi mushrooms also. These are immune stimulants. So when you start to feel symptoms of illness, then you want to take these. So the strengtheners you can take on a regular basis. These next herbs are boosters. You only take these when you start to feel the illness. So these are all are going to wake up basically your army of white blood cells to say, hey, let's go fight this. We've got something invading here. We need to get the army up and ready, okay? We'll have to get to that, Lady B, later on. So, echinacea. Ginger. So we just made the honey, right? You want to take that when you're starting to feel things. You can also, add these things and these other herbs we're talking about to your honeys too. Elderberry. It is good for, what was it? It's a supporter. It's an immune supporter. You can take it regularly. It strengthens your immune system. We are now on the stimulants. You take these when you start to feel bad. Those are echinacea, ginger. We've talked about echinacea a few times. You want to have echinacea. You want to have ginger in your apothecary. Lemon balm is also good, and that's also an adaptogen. So keep lemon balm in your household. So a few things that you can, we talked about the thyme. Thyme actually is a diaphoretic. You want to keep thyme around because it helps expel phlegm and mucus, and it helps the respiratory system. we'll have to talk about, guys, let's focus on these herbs, okay? I'm sorry, I just get sidetracked and then I'll go down an entire rabbit hole. But we will get to that. Boneset is also an herb that can be used internally, but you want to give very low dosages. And what boneset does, it's also a diaphoretic. So it can remove the phlegm and the mucus out and help with body aches too. Boneset, low dosages. I already mentioned echinacea, low dosages for kids. Again, we all know elderberries are great. We mentioned that. Elderberries help strengthen your cell walls so that those, excuse me, nasty illnesses can't penetrate your cell walls. But again, you only take the elderberries when you're starting to feel sick. It's not a maintenance or a strengthener. It is a deterrent. It shortens the life. You don't want to get a resistance, to where it doesn't work as well for you as it once did. Elderflower, which is the flowers of the elderberries, they're also very good in helping with coughing spasms, and they're antispasmodic. Okay, questions now. Somebody had a few. Pregnant to relieve nasal congestion. Hold on. Let me see if I have. I know I've got a list of things for pregnancy. Bear with me. What was that specifically? Pregnancy, nasal congestion. Okay, here are things good for pregnancy in the first trimester. Red raspberry leaf. It will strengthen and tone we'll have to have a whole nother thing on this. Echinacea is good. Ginger is good. Chamomile, peppermint, dandelion root. Let me look at something else. Let me make sure that nettles is not on here. Let's see. Okay, or it is. Let me go down here. One more. All right, so for nasal congestion, you could use the stinging nettle. It's not on my list of no-nos. And there are a lot of herbs that women should not take when they are pregnant, including turmeric. You shouldn't take that. But, you'd have to look into that. Sarsaparilla, sage. Of course, we cook with these things. These are in excess. You can have a little bit, but you don't want to go crazy. All right, so that one's taken. What's best to get? Methylated folate. You're having issues with your son. Let me look at my trusty box of tricks here. Ooh. What was the other question? Oh. Wow, there is a cat or something. And it sounds horrible outside. Did I spell this wrong, or do I not have anything in here for this? Huh. I don't have anything in here. Which is weird. I don't have anything for fulvic acid. I know. Have you ever tried doing a fulvic acid bath on him before? There are some companies that have some really good fulvic acid baths out there. Okay, let's see here. What's the best way? We already answered that. You heard it cause spike protein after you're already sick. I don't know. I have not heard that one yet, Deborah. They've been using it for years, so I don't know. That could be, you know, a pharmaceutical company that kind of put that out there because they don't want you to take elderberry. They'd rather you have to go to CVS, so I've never heard that. I guess I heard with people with neurodegenerative, they can't process folate, which helps carry it out. Look into the baths. Sunflower seeds. It can pull out a lot of your heavy minerals in your body. I've never done them, but there are some TikTok creators out here who really, really, there was a girl I used to follow. And so I'm just going to share this, you know, the whole guilt by association thing. So because I do associate with Posh Mama, and a lot of these herbalist creators did not like Posh Mama, and because I associated, a lot of them blocked me. Roots of Healing blocked me. A couple other ones blocked me. But I know prior to that time, there was not Roots of Healing. There's drama going on with that show too, if you guys haven't been seeing that. But anyway, not with Posh Mama, but any Roots of Healing. There was another girl, she was really into the fulvic. Put fulvic bath out there in your search bar, you'll find her. But she blocked me, so I don't see her stuff anymore, and that's fine. No big deal. I don't care if they block me or not. My life doesn't revolve around if they follow me. Fine with me. All right, what's next on our agenda? We want to talk about yumming things that you guys can make. So keep in mind when you make a tea, okay, we can make a really good tea. You can take oregano, okay, make a tea. Take some oregano. Take some of that sage. Take the eucalyptus. Take the elecampane. Make yourself just a tiny bit of mullein. Put some stevia leaves. Oh, I know, it got so crazy. Whatever. I'm not here for people's personal lives, you know what I mean? I'm here for you guys and to share what I do. Hey, Tosh. I don't care about that. And if Posh Mama invites me to do a live so that it allows her followers to see my ideas, you know, great. Isn't it about sharing information? I'm not going to share something that's bad or anything like that. Don't want to do that. So, but yeah, you know, and honestly, from what I've heard through the grapevine, some of those that did block me, I clearly don't agree with some of their suggestions on health-related stuff. They do them, you know, like I'm not going to tell anybody to take borax. I just don't feel comfortable doing that. It's crazy outside about it. Oh, girl. I know. And I hate to be dogging anybody. I went off on a tangent this morning. But I didn't give names. I'm not going to give names on, current events. But I am saying, please do your own research. They didn't tell you in making these glycerites you need a food grade glycerin. They just said a vegetable glycerin. Anybody could go to Google and be buying a vegetable glycerin. You don't want to do that. And because Barbara O'Neill said that alcohol tinctures aren't good for you, she doesn't, Guys, are we really living and breathing by what one person on the internet said? You're not going to research that? You're not going to research why it might be better to have alcohol? And they're doing it from little clips, little snippets. And maybe they didn't watch why she was talking about that and not suggesting the alcohol. Maybe that person was a child. Maybe that person had liver problems. You don't know. But we're going to take it as gospel. Man, I don't know. Anyway, sweetening. We're on the tea. We're taking some of these herbs that we had talked about, and we are going to make a tea, okay? You can take stevia leaf. Stevia leaf is what they make stevia from in the stores as far as the sugar, but it hasn't been processed. It's fresh. You can grow this, friends. That's what I did. I grow it, and then I grind it down. But I don't like it too ground because I want to put it in one of my little tea balls, Hey, truck girl. Thanks for joining. Now then, cloves, cinnamon. Make it taste a little bit good. And then make popsicles. Make your tea, strain it, and make popsicles. When your kids are sick, make a popsicle. Fever, take a popsicle with all these things, okay? There are a few things that are good with reducing fevers. We're going to be doing a workshop separately. We're not going to talk about fevers today. But make these popsicles. They are very beneficial in helping fight things like that. Let's see here. We've already talked about ginger and garlic. Okay, so here's an FYI. I moved my honey. Here is our ginger and, no, this is our garlic and honey that we made just a little bit ago. Okay, so you've got this sitting here and you're like, man, and if you notice, it's already, that honey's already getting thinner. Remember how thick it was? Just that little bit of time that it sat. Look how it's swishing around already. Because it's going to get into a syrup instead of a thickness like a honey. But you could take this if you wanted to and increase your volume. You take apple cider vinegar and make an oxymel. 50% honey, 50% apple cider vinegar, and you've got some medicine. Because the apple cider vinegar has medicinal properties in it too. So you kind of got to think outside the box. You got to think, what do I have in my house? It's, it's a snowstorm outside. It's a level 3. We can't leave the house. What do I have in my kitchen that can help my kids that now have come down with something? Keep apple cider vinegar in your house. Keep local honey in your house. Yes, you want the mother. Yep. Start thinking about making your own apple cider vinegar right now. It can last over a year, like up to 18 months. Yeah, it has a long shelf life. Honey is a preservative. Apple cider vinegar is a preservative. They both have long shelf lives. Yep, they last. So those are good things to have in your kitchen. Not everybody has high grade alcohol, vodka, unless you got a bar in your house, you know. Um, no, it's shelf life. So when we say shelf life, that is unrefrigerated. If something needs refrigerated, I will tell you that. It's up to you, Karma. It is up to you. There's no set recipe. What you have on hand, mix it up. Mix it up. I use small amounts today to make this, but it's a small jar. So, you know, 1 part garlic, 1 part ginger, 1 part onion to 2 parts honey. And you are going to find when it comes to herbal medicine, we deal in parts. As a courtesy out here, when I'm doing lives and I'm making something and I say, okay guys, I've got 1/3 of a cup. I do that for you guys, but I just do parts, you know, so 1 part each herb to 4 parts of your menstruum. So keep that in mind. Apple cider vinegar with the mother, you want honey, you want all those good things. So the things that this is going to help is you can also add licorice to that to help with coughing. Horehound is another one as far as an herb that would be good to keep in the house. Horehound helps with coughing, helps with the bronchial passageways. Also, wild cherry bark is also a good one. It soothes like an antispasmodic. Each individual's different. Weight, height, age, you know, under 2 years old, you're not going to give honey to anyway. So you would just want to start out small and build up. You know, an adult would probably take a couple teaspoons as needed. You know, it's all different. It's hard for me sitting over here not knowing that individual. I can give you the standard, but each person's different. You'd have to adjust it accordingly. Yeah, ginger is wonderful. Sorry I don't have more of a, you know, a guaranteed. But like for young'uns over 2, I would probably start out with a 1/2 teaspoon. And always do a patch test on the skin with garlic, which I'm sure most kids, you know, garlic, ginger, honey, things like that, you know if they're allergic or not. But on other herbs that you don't have and you don't normally use, like elecampane or, you know, things like that, always do a patch test of things. Okay, speaking of elecampane, you can add that to your oxymels. All these things we've talked about, you can use. So, yeah, okay, we've talked about that. I'm removing my little note sheets here. Again, popsicles. You have elderberry syrup, okay? I'm going to be selling do-it-yourself elderberry kits. And it's going to have all the goodies in there dried. All you got to do is add the water and your own honey afterwards. But let's say the kids don't want to take a spoonful of it. They've got a fever and you just want them to be comforted, maybe sore throat. Make popsicles out of your elderberries. You can add strawberries and blueberries. You can even sneak things in there with your kids, and you can do this on a daily basis. Throw in some greens, you know? Throw kale in. Can throw in some beets from your garden. Put some coconut milk in there or something. Add some apple juice to it. Make yourself a popsicle. Those things are going to help them. They're 100% natural. They're going to help them. Utilize the popsicles. It worked wonders for my kids and my grandkids. Yeah, you can make a jelly or a cobbler. Yes, ma'am. Pitcher plant. I bought it last year. I don't grow it. So I had heard a creator really saying something about the pitcher plant. I took it when, was it last year or the year before? I can't even remember. I still got it. I didn't notice anything with it. but everybody's different. So please, you know, don't take my word for is it going to work for you. It possibly could. It just didn't do anything for me. I'm in the process of drying the elderberries right now. So I'm hoping in a couple weeks it'll be out there. And as you can see, I got plenty of ginger and I don't think you were here when I showed. But I've got, and this is just some of it. We've got plenty of ginger and turmeric, and I've got to dry this too. So got a lot going on. All right, so keep in mind about the popsicles, friends. And especially for under 2 years old, you're not using the honey and doing the popsicles, but yet you have the benefits of that tea that you're turning into a popsicle. So keep that in mind for younger ones. This one's a little bit more involved. I would probably share this one on my website because it's got, remember I said I was going to have to go to the bathroom eventually. Definitely not for animals. It'll kill them. Misunderstood. I don't mess with it at all. Not at all. I don't mess with it. I don't like it myself. I would look at just getting yourself some stevia or monk fruit is what I would suggest. Do you have a workaway program to help with gardening? A workaway. I'm not sure what a workaway program is. I'm sorry. I don't know what that is. Okay, so these are called, what do I call them? Little bites. They're good for immune boosting for kids. They taste good. Kids will eat them. So I can give you an idea of things that you could make. Some ingredients to make like they're little balls that have coconut. You don't have to have the coconut, but so you could combine like a cashew butter, a natural peanut butter that doesn't have any sugar or anything added to it. Most stores have like those grind your own butter machines, so get yourself some of that. Get some maple syrup. You could also use what is it? That's high in iron. Molasses. You could use some molasses if you wanted to for the sweetness. Get you some ashwagandha powder. You can buy that. Turmeric, ginger, nutmeg, clove. You could add chia seeds, almond flour, and you just make these little bites, okay? And you could roll them around in coconut if you wanted to. My kids like them. You're going to have a consistency of sugar dough. Remember, the ashwagandha is very good for when you're sick. You could also, if you find blueberries, you could throw some elderberries into these, blueberries into these. You just... World of Organic Farmer Ways to Get Free Help. Oh, I don't have the room for that. But that's a good idea they do that. That's pretty cool. That is really cool. Yes, chia seeds are very good. Again, you can put those in there. Your berries, fresh berries, elderberries. I mean, so many things, guys. You could use coconut flour. You could use almond flour if you wanted to. Instead of going with regular flour, because, guys, they put a lot of shit in the flour. I'm going to be honest. And as far as, I've got some brands, if you're interested, that I like. Hold on here, let me find them. I've got a few that I really like. So the Red Mill is a really good company. This is an almond flour. They're pretty good. I do like them. It's easy to cook with. Replace your regular flour with this. So if you want to do low keto, these are really good. It also glucosamate is what they spray wheat and flour with when it's growing in the fields. They also used it in Roundup. Yeah, it's a flour. It's not self-rising. You would have to, you know, compensate for that with a powder. This is another one. It is Pamela's almond flour. This is paleo also. This is a good one. Chia seeds. Did I get the coconut flour out? No. But they all have different versions of flour. That's good to use if you want to do, you know, and it's good for your kids too. Let's see. You have natural keto cocoa powder. Yeah, like a cacao powder for this recipe. Most definitely. So, you know, you just make a flour, you roll it into balls. I'll share this recipe on my website. You can put milk, get some, use that cacao, make your own little, King Arthur. I like, King Arthur flour. I do, when I'm using flour, King Arthur is my preferred. But I do try to steer away as I can with the other almonds. And I'm going to be honest, I haven't really been experimenting with my baking or anything like that lately. Not like I usually do. I haven't done my canning yet this year. I'm a hot mess, friends. I'm just a freaking hot mess. All right. We have gone over a lot of recipes. We've gone over a lot of herbs that are good for children. If we're looking for infants, catnip is always wonderful. For children, it's gentle. But yeah, so catnip is another good one too. Excuse me. Anybody have any questions? I think I covered everything that and I gotta go potty, guys, so I'm gonna jump off here. I'm shaking my legs right now. I'm starting to get all antsy. Y'all can walk around and put your phone down and listen to me. I gotta go potty. I'll be back out here later today. It's a, yes, you can also drink it if you're pregnant, or excuse me, if you're nursing, and it'll pass through in 30 minutes through the milk to the baby. Yes. It's very good for it. You're quite welcome. If you haven't subscribed, friends, subscribe to my website. Got a good sale going on now. Buy 2, get 1 free of the specific category. It is called specific category, but it includes things like the mushroom 5, lymph and liver. I think the bronchial might be on there. Dr. Jekyll and Miss Hyde, all kinds of good things. So, check it out. You've got the basis of what you need in your apothecary. You know, you want the onions, the garlic, the sage, the oregano. You know, oregano is your natural antibiotic. You want usnea, that helps with fungal infections. You want cinnamon and clove and some cayenne. You know, you want all those things. So you don't need a lot. You don't need gigantic jars full, okay? You don't need that. You don't need to break the bank. So just start out small. We do have to amp up for the winter time. It's coming. I will try to download this and put this over on YouTube. I'll also try to edit it and put little snippets out here to share on TikTok upcoming. We're going to have more of these videos as far as making things for the winter months. We're going to have a sore throat spray. I posted a video out there from last year for, okay, we can talk about that. Of my sore throat spray I made last year, but I have decided to add some more things to it and maybe change out some herbs. So it's a shelf stable, meaning it is fine. It's kid friendly. Put it in a spray bottle and literally spray it. That's a good one to use, and a way to use it if you have children that won't take medicine and things like that. You're getting it in a spray form, but it's still medicine, like marshmallow. You could put echinacea in it. You could turn it into a sore throat spray, and make it flavorful for them, like a pepperminty taste, so that they would take it a little bit better. So we just got to be smarter than the kids, right? All right, friends, I'm sure I'll be out here, probably be a TikTok shop. I'm going to be honest. They finally approved my lymph and liver tincture for a TikTok shop. So we're going to be talking about that. So yeah, got a lot of things to do. All right, friends, we'll talk later. I go potty. See you later. Thank you for all the likes. I appreciate it. Bye, friends. Love you too.